Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Friday, January 6, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with news of Vince McMahon's potential return to WWE. The disgraced former chairman who resigned from the company last July amidst accusations of years of sexual misconduct and hush money payments to female former employees, plans to use his voting power as majority stock owner to elect himself to the board of directors of WWE, along with former WWE co-presidents Michelle Wilson and George Barrios, in order to pursue a sale of the company. The news of McMahon's plan was broken yesterday afternoon by the Wall Street Journal, the same outlet that initially broke news of McMahon's alleged improprieties earlier this year, and later confirmed in a press release from McMahon himself, in which he indicated that he would block any potential sale of the company and any renewal of media rights deals with networks such as Fox and NBC Universal unless he is directly involved as executive chairman of the company. McMahon would require approval to reinstate himself to the board of directors, which has previously indicated to McMahon that his return would not be in the stockholders' best interest, a view reported to be held unanimously by all board members. The installment of McMahon, along with Wilson and Barrios, whom McMahon himself fired 3 years ago, would require 3 current board members to step down. In a letter initially sent by McMahon to the board last month, McMahon expressed his interest in beginning a strategic review process for the sale of the company, timed to take place as WWE is preparing to renegotiate its highly lucrative media rights fees with Fox, the carrier of SmackDown, and USA Network owner NBC Universal, carrier of Raw and NXT. The board is reported to have asked McMahon not to return to the company while the government probes into his alleged misconduct are still ongoing, which he refused to agree to, although he did confirm his commitment to repay expenses incurred by the company due to the special investigation into the allegations against him. It's not yet known what McMahon's return to the board and to a chair position would mean for McMahon's daughter and current WWE chair, Stephanie McMahon. In New Japan Pro Wrestling news, the former Sasha Banks, now known professionally as Mercedes Monet, will have her first match since walking out of WWE last May, according to an announcement yesterday from New Japan. Monet will challenge IWGP Women's Champion Kairi February 18th at the San Jose Civic Center in San Jose, California, at New Japan Pro Wrestling's Battle in the Valley event, to be carried live on Fight TV. The announcement comes after a confrontation between the two that took place earlier this week at Wrestle Kingdom 17. The former Banks last wrestled on May 15th at a WWE house show in Roanoke, Virginia, where she and Naomi defended the WWE Women's Tag Team title against Natalya and Shayna Baszler, before both handed over their title belts at the Raw taping the next day and walked away from the company. Monet and Kairi shared the ring several times while both wrestled for WWE, but have only had one previous one-on-one match, a bout shown on the July 6, 2020 edition of Monday Night Raw, which Kairi won by disqualification. In ratings news, Wednesday night's episode of AEW Dynamite on TBS drew the lowest rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic since January 6, 2021, when the show was still running against NXT, in addition to coverage of the U.S. Capitol riot that same day. At .26, the key demo rating represented 336,000 viewers and was down from last week's .28 rating, according to WrestleNomics. The overall audience for the episode was 864,000, a slight drop from last week's 876,000 viewers, according to Showbuzz Daily. In the key demo for the evening, the show ranked number 4 on the cable top 150, down from number 5 last week. Total viewership for the episode was less than the show's 2022 per episode airing average of 955,711. NXT drew 653,000 viewers to the USA Network for Tuesday night's live New Year's Evil broadcast, an 11% jump from last week's taped episode, according to Showbuzz Daily. The rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic was .16, translating to 209,000 viewers, and up from last week's .12 key demo rating, according to WrestleNomics. The overall audience was slightly higher than the 2022 episode average of 623,461. In news from outside the ring, a scheduled convention signing appearance by former WWE Head of Talent Relations John Laurinaitis was canceled yesterday by convention organizer Bobby Fulton, who cited strong negative backlash as the cause. Laurinaitis was scheduled to appear at WrestleCon 2023 the weekend of March 30th in Los Angeles for Fulton's Big Time Collectibles. Wrote Fulton on Twitter, quote, "Yesterday we announced John Laurinaitis would be doing an appearance with Big Time Collectibles. Upon announcement, we received only negative feedback. After much consideration, we have decided not to work with him. We apologize to those that were offended by us working with him," end quote. Laurinaitis was dismissed from WWE last summer following the Board of Directors' Special Committee investigation into allegations of misconduct regarding hush money payoffs to past company employees alleged to have engaged in sexual relationships with the 60-year-old Laurinaitis, as well as his former boss, Vince McMahon. In injury news, Lio Rush suffered a broken nose during his match at Wrestle Kingdom, according to comments made by New Japan announcer Chris Charlton during yesterday's New Year's Dash. Rush teamed with Yo against IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions TJP and Francesco Akira and appeared to suffer the injury when he took a double-team maneuver on the entrance ramp that lacerated his face. On social media, Rush shared a photo of his injured face early Wednesday morning. In ticket sales news, tonight's SmackDown TV taping at the FedEx Forum in Memphis had 7,728 tickets distributed, with 1,163 still available as of Wednesday, according to a report from WrestleTix. That's more than a 50% improvement from ticket sales for WWE's last appearance at the FedEx Forum, a Raw taping on December 6, 2021, that drew 5,296. In Impact Wrestling news, Josh Alexander became the longest reigning Impact World Champion in history yesterday, hitting 257 days as title holder, surpassing the record of 256 days previously held by Bobby Roode. Alexander's reign is the 56th in the nearly 16-year history of the Impact World title, which replaced the NWA World title as TNA Impact's top championship in 2007. The new record was celebrated with a video package aired during last night's live edition of Impact Wrestling, the first episode of 2023. Alexander is scheduled a week from Friday to defend the Impact title against former champion Bully Ray, who was on hand last night to taunt Alexander, who did not appear. Bully Ray also confronted Impact Executive Vice President Scott D'Amore, blindsiding him with a Gotch piledriver and a powerbomb through a table to end the show.
Do you know who I am? I'm Bully Ray, your next Impact World Champion.
Last night's episode also paid tribute to longtime TNA announcer Don West, who passed away last week of lymphoma. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.